Oh, I just had this image of a fisherman pulling a girl out of the sea in his nets, and often a movie just starts with an image like that. For me, this was like, would I see where this wants to go? Was it a horror movie? Is it a fantasy? Is it a fairy tale? And I began to write and began to explore the different kind of versions of. And every culture is, a version of the same myth. Of a woman from the sea who comes on land, if she's a mermaid or a seal or a frog or whatever, that kind of thing. And the Irish version of that is a selkie. And I basically, I thought, okay, I'm going to tell this fairy tale, which turns out not to be a fairy tale, and just see where it goes, really. I suppose I have been. I made a movie years ago called The Company of Wolves. And there's always a bit of a fairy tale behind every story I write, really, whether it's a dark one or a kind of a postmodern one or a twisted one, In this case, it turned out to be a very simple one, so it was about quite simple realities. And, I mean, my main worry with the movie was, can you tell a story where you make the audience believe in one thing and then it turns out that turns out not to be true, But in a strange way, it kind of reinforced the fairy tale nature of the whole story, because if she had been what he imagines her to be, she would have, there would have been some strange, dark, tragic end to the whole procedure, But given that she turned out to have quite a realistic basis to her existence, it enabled a different kind of happy ending to take place, or another kind of fairy tale to take precedence in the end. Well, I wanted to work with Colin for a long time. He's brilliant, He's a great Irish actor, one of the best, And I kind of wrote it with him in mind, I think. I spoke to him as I was writing it, and when I finished the script, sent it to him, I mean, I thought he would be ideal for it. I couldn't think of anybody else who would play it, really, apart from him, So I'm so glad that he took to it. He just loved it, wanted to do it immediately. I didn't even question about that. I didn't even talk about that. I mean, being Irish, it's like alcoholism is in the genes, I think, somehow, you know what I mean? So, I mean, if any Irish actor I'd cast would have known the same background, it probably wouldn't have had the same history Colin had, but, maybe it had resonance to him. Maybe it had, And I think the extremity that the character found himself in at the start really spoke to him, Somebody who's trying to make their life work, after a series of personal disasters, trying to keep it together, and for whom the act of keeping it together is a huge effort, really. I think that did affect him. It did affect his performance in some way, but I didn't discuss it with him. Yes, it was, basically. I mean, I hadn't seen Trade. I didn't know Alicja as an actress. But I needed someone Eastern European. I didn't want somebody well-known. So, I went to London. Susie Figgis, the casting director, brought in everybody she could from, Romania, Bulgaria, Poland. And Alicja came in, and I just thought she was kind of entrancing, And I did a test for her in Dublin. I thought she was remarkable. She had exactly the qualities that I needed for the role, Kind of beautiful physicality, and a strange, otherworldly look to her. And, an unknowability, I suppose, which is important.